What are you living for? That's a question I remember asking myself a long time ago. And I've been contemplating the meaning of life every day for the past 10 years. And that question, what are you living for, has been at the core of it all for me since the beginning. Because when I started trying to figure out what the meaning of life was, I immediately realized that I was basically just trying to find out what it is exactly I should be living for. I was trying to find out, you know, what is the number one most important thing in all of existence that I should be basing my whole life around? Basically, what was the point of all of this? And it was weird. I didn't have an answer to the question, but for whatever reason, I was absolutely certain that there was slash is an answer. And not some made up one either. I mean, a real objective answer to this question. And while trying to answer that question for myself, I remember I started asking friends, family, and loved ones what they were living for. Basically, what they believed the meaning of life was. And in all honesty, the answers I heard kind of scared me because I came to realize that a majority of people don't actually have a real answer to this question at all. They either flat out had no idea what I was asking them and just looked at me confused, almost as if they never actually thought about the question at all once in their whole life. Or they had some extremely surface level answer that they never truly examined or justified. Something like, oh, I don't know, to just enjoy life, I guess. Or another answer I would hear was just, I don't know. And then they would just proceed to change the topic. And this led me to realize that a majority of people are just kind of drifting through life, just kind of living day to day, just kind of acting on pure impulse and emotion with no real direction or purpose, which is bizarre to me because your answer to what the meaning of life is, your answer to the question of what are you living for, is literally the foundation of your entire existence. Every single decision you make in your life is based on the answer to that question. Meaning, if you don't have a solid answer, or even worse, no answer at all, you're quite literally just making decisions in life with no foundation. You're moving in a direction that you haven't even justified or decided is truly right or wrong. You literally have no idea where you're going in your life ultimately. And I'm not saying that trying to talk down to anybody at all. I'm not saying that like I personally have it all figured out. I don't. That's why I've been contemplating all of this for so long. But what I'm trying to do is point out that this question is arguably the most important one you could answer in your entire life. And I'm not saying that you need to have the perfect answer right here, right now either. I don't think anybody has the perfect answer. Again, I don't. But if you've never even tried answering this question for yourself, or if you've never even considered it to begin with, or if you do have an answer like, oh, it's just to enjoy life, but you haven't actually examined it in any meaningful way, then I would argue that you actually have a real responsibility to not only find out some kind of meaningful answer to that question, but that if you do find an answer, you also have a responsibility to justify it. Because the thing is, what you believe the meaning of life is, what it is you're actually deciding to live for, is what shapes the decisions you make in your life. The decisions you make in your life have consequences on yourself, the world, and those around you. Meaning, you have a moral responsibility to make sure that the decisions you are making are not harming yourself, the world, or those around you. And the thing is, how can you truly know that if you don't even know what it is you're living for? Or if you haven't examined and justified the answer you do have? And that's one of the biggest things I've come to learn trying to answer this question for myself. When I began trying to find the meaning of life, when I tried answering the question, what am I living for? I came to realize that the answer to that question is the foundation of my whole life. That where I go, who I become, and what I end up doing is all based on that answer. And that if I want to live a good life, if I want to live a meaningful life, then I'd better have a good and meaningful answer to that question. And that if I didn't have an answer to that question, then I was just going to drift with nowhere to go and nothing to truly live for. And even more importantly, I learned too that even if I didn't want to answer the question because, I don't know, it made me uncomfortable or it was too painful to think about, I learned that I was already living by an answer, even if I never consciously had one. Because even if you don't have an answer to this question yet, how you live every day is your answer. What you chase, what you desire, what you do every day is that answer, and you can't avoid it. What are you living for?